for questions 5 and 6, it says use the diagram to the right. In this diagram, RT is parallel to VW. And so with those being parallel, we know that it cuts ST into two proportional parts, and same thing with SR. So first thing I'm going to do is, it says solve for X, so we're going to go ahead and label these 4 segments. So RV is 4X, and WT is 5X, and SV is 12X, and SW is 45. Okay, so we know each individual part, so we can just set up our ratio. We can do RV over VS, and that's going to be equal to TW over WS. So when I plug those in, that's 4X over 12X is equal to 5X over 45. And then all we have to do is cross multiply. So that gives me 60x squared equals 180 times x. Now, we're trying to solve for x, and what we have is a quadratic, but we don't have a trinomial, so don't have to worry about factoring it into 2 sets of parentheses. All we have to do is factor out the GCF. To help us, first thing we're going to do is get the x squared by itself, and since I can divide 180 and 60 evenly, I'm going to divide both sides by 60. So I end up with x squared equals 3x. And then in order for me to factor it, I need them on the same side of the equal sign, so I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides, and then I can factor out the greatest common factor, and here it's x. So I'm left with x minus 3. Now, if I hadn't have divided this, and I just moved the 180x over, I would have factored out my GCF here would have been 60x, but what's inside of the parentheses is still going to be x minus 3. It's just going to have a larger GCF than what we have here. It's not going to change our answer, because if we take this x and set it equal to 0, we get x equals 0. If that had been 60 there, we would have 60x equals 0, and in that case x still equals 0. So it wouldn't matter either way. It's just, to me, it's easier just to deal with the smaller values. And then here, x is going to equal 3. Now, we need to check and see, we don't have any negatives, but we need to check to see if both of these work. 0 is not going to work, because 4 times 0 is 0, 12 times 0 is 0, 5 times 0 is 0. So we know this isn't going to work. So x equals 3 is going to be our answer. Now in question 6, it says use your answers from 5 to find the ratio of the following. So I'm going to go ahead and plug 3 in so I can find the length of each side. So 4 times 3 is 12, 12 times 3 is 36, and 5 times 3 is 15. And then I can find the ratio. And it says RV to VS. So that would be 12 over 36. And 12 over 36 is 1/3, so this is going to be 1 to 3. Or I can write it like this, 1 and colon 3. And then on this one, if this is 1 to 3, this one's going to be 1 to 3 also. So we just need to check, I'm just going to check it just to make sure. So TW is 15 over WS, which is 45, and that gives me 1/3. So this is 1 to 3. So if these are proportional, then these ratios of these 2 segments are going to be the same. So if this has a 1 to 3 ratio, this one's going to have a 1 to 3 ratio. Now in this one, it looks like it's going to be 1 to 3 because this is your smaller segment. But on your test, make sure you don't go by looks. Just because this looks smaller, may not be drawn to scale, so just be aware of that. Use the values that you have and don't go by the looks of it.